Hello, boils and ghouls. You are now tuned in to PVD Horror Podcast. Pleasant screams.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the PVD Horror Podcast. My name is Dave, and I'm joined here with my co-host, Brandon. And today we have a very special guest. We have Krisilly, who is a TV host, movie critic, Miss RI 2003, working with Altered Reality Entertainment. And we actually just got to bump into you at one of Rhode Island's former, but now Massachusetts owned conventions, TerraCon. So, Krisilly, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh my God, thank you for having me. And if you tell anyone else that I was a pageant girl, we might fight.
That's not what you go around telling everyone when you meet them for the first time. You don't.
No, I actually kept it out of everything in my social media until I met my husband 5 years ago. And he was like, you need to be proud of that. And I was like, but yeah.
Yeah, because there's only one. There's only one Miss RI 2003.
Yeah, well, I hide from that.
All right.
Thank you so much, Krisilly, for coming on. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day. We're big fans of TerraCon. We've been going for years. Going as press is, it's a great, thing that me and Dave, we honor every year. We look forward to like the guests, everybody coming. Just horror is just like something that we love. And so hearing that you're a horror fan, I need to know, like, what are some of your favorite horror films?
Okay, so I was a late to the game horror fan because I was afraid of my own shadow growing up. And still to this day, Michael Myers is the creepiest horror villain of all time. So my gateway horror movie was Scream, obviously, because I feel like that kind of becomes like everybody's instant.
Yeah.
But since then, I think The Conjuring is one of my favorite horror movies ever made. I don't know if it's because I'm from New England or what, but it is still hands down one of my favorites. And I've very quickly grown to love Annabelle as well.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So put them in order of favorite to least favorite, if you don't mind.
Out of the three?
Yeah. I think this is easier for me.
Really?
I hated one of them.
This is really strange, but I think the second one's my favorite.
Okay.
And
is
then
the second one when they're locked in the
somehow.
Okay, is the second one when they're locked in the museum? The girls locked in the museum. It's like, yeah, that one's not bad. The third one I could not. I just could not with that one. The first one was okay to me. I know a lot of people don't like the first one as much, but the third one just I couldn't.
Yeah, the first one.
Even coming from New England, I think that's why I like them both so much. I think I like The Conjuring and I like Annabelle so much because when you're from here, like those were things we did when we were in high school. We drove by the Conjuring house. We drove by we drove by all those places to kind of like how close could you get before you turned around. I think that might be why I love them so much. Maybe not necessarily because they're like the best horror films. I think when it comes to other horror films, I'm a big fan of the Midsommers. Like Midsommar to me was in the past 10 years one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. I will never forget the blinking flowers or the filleted man.
Yes. I love that film. But I know that that's like acquired taste. There's some people that, feel like those like Midsommar and Hereditary, like they think they're overhyped. I absolutely love them. Just to go back to Annabelle, I'm just thinking about that second one. I was like, I kind of want to rewatch that now. With all the recent news of, like Matt Rife and, Casti, like buying the museum or the house and having the museum and stuff. Like, I kind of want to rewatch that movie because of that. And just like remind myself of all the spooky things that are in there. Cause, I haven't seen that in ages. I think I only saw it once, but it wasn't bad. It's not one I ever went back and rewatched for whatever reason.
It's interesting because my friend told me today, we were talking about horror movies that we both loved, and she told me the scariest movie she ever saw was The Strangers. And I was like, wait, I don't consider that a horror movie. I mean, I know technically it is,
Yeah.
but I don't know that I feel like it's like a home invasion movie.
That's the most horrific thing I could ever think of.
That's what she said.
That is literally I say this all the time. That is like my number one fear. That is a horror movie to me. I was literally talking about that today. I was talking to someone about like what kind of horror movies they like. And I said, they asked me what I think is scary. And they're like, oh, you're one of those people that doesn't say anything scary. It's actually, no, home invasion scares me. And The Strangers kind of scared me. The knock at the door in the middle of the night is terrifying.
Okay. I like it. See, I think this is going to sound absolutely terrible. I've always lived in houses with guns. So I think those movies scare me less because I've always lived or been a gun owner.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they don't scare me as much because I'm like, I'd be fine. Realistically, I wouldn't. But whatever.
I don't know. Yeah. It's terrifying though.
Terrifying.
But you posted a picture too. I want to ask you this question. You posted a picture of Andrew Divoff. And you said he was in one of your favorite films, I believe.
Wait, who did I post a picture of?
Andrew Divoff. Was it him that you did?
From Lost.
Oh yeah, it was in Lost. That was the reference. Yeah, and when I saw that, I totally forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot he was part of Lost.
He was. I mean, I loved him in Wishmaster. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like I was a big Lost fan. So to me, his character was the most hated character in the whole franchise, and it made him my favorite.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was glad that you said that because I totally forgot about that, and that just made me like love him more because he's wonderful, and then meeting him is great too. So
I thought you were going to ask about Art the Clown.
Yeah, I seen you had taken a picture with our friend Horror Free Cosplay. So he did a few of our one of our pop-ups, and so we had met him, actually at TerraCon, or actually no, Silver Screams, and then
Silver Scream. Yep, yeah, he was John Carver. Yeah.
So. Listen, he's a really nice dude.
Yeah.
Until he puts that thing on. And I don't get that. The only movie that I love is It because it's It and you can't not hate It. But like Art, I will not watch The Terrifier because I can't. Like that kid finds me at TerraCon. You saw the picture. Yeah. He finds me at every show we do. And he does it on purpose because he knows I'm always going to act professional. And so he knows that I fear him and he taunts me. And I just think it's rude.
we'll let him know. And for anyone listening, he also did his Art the Clown Santa art at Rhode Island Comic Con last year, and I think he mentioned he's going to be at Rhode Island Comic Con again.
Yes, he is.
If you see him dressed as Art, you have to go up and interact with him. He does a phenomenal job. He is just like that character when he's in that suit, and when he takes off the suit, he's so unassuming. You would never think that that's actually him. It's wonderful.
It is. He's really great. We got really lucky. We have some really amazing cosplayers at Rhode Island Comic Con, at TerraCon, at Colorado Springs Comic Con that kind of come with us wherever we go, and they're just amazing. I don't know what we would do without our cosplayers. What was your favorite part of TerraCon? I didn't even ask you guys.
Brandon, what would you say?
My favorite is just like the community, just seeing all our friends, like going to our conventions is kind of like horror, personality. It's
a horror reunion sometime, right?
Yeah, it's a reunion. It's like it's like going back to high school reunions and then seeing everyone that you haven't seen all year. So, it's cool seeing that. It's some of the vendors and, even some of the guests that you guys have. We've worked with them on certain projects or had them on the show before, so it's pretty cool, so it's just like a family get together.
For me, hands down, this TerraCon best experience was meeting Linda Blair, because she was a guest at Rock and Shock ages ago, and I didn't meet her there because the line was like crazy long, and I always thought that I just never was going to get to meet her, and I would think like, oh, I wish I had just taken the opportunity then. There's so many people I regret not meeting in the past before, like I was going regularly to these, and her being there, and we met her relatively quick too on that Sunday morning because I just hopped right in her line, and just meeting her and just being a huge fan of The Exorcist and stuff like that to me kind of just like made my Halloween season this year. I think that was like one of the tops. And actually, I'm not gonna lie, meeting Andrew Divoff was another one because I am a huge fan of Wishmaster, and yeah, I had him sign my Wishmaster VHS, and I was very very pleased with the way he signed it too. It looked very nice.
And I have to say, so you guys weren't there for the whole tornado debacle.
I had just left, so I had made it home, and then I seen the post online. Dave had texted me, and then so one of my buddies that like left at the same time as me, well, he stuck around for a little bit more, so I had messaged him and made sure he was all right. He was driving home in it, and I was just like, oh man, like I was happy I was able to kind of get out of there because I had my daughter with me, and the rain was just like coming down like so bad. But tell us what it was like being inside of that mess.
Okay. So this is what blew my mind is that I lived in California for 15 years before I came back to the East Coast in 2019. And so I'm very used to getting the warnings on my phone, usually earthquake, blah, 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 whatever. And since I've been back on the East Coast, every time we've ever gotten one, nothing has happened.
Yeah.
But to be in Terracon, and every single person's phone went off at the same exact time. It was like the purge, like when that alarm goes off.
Yeah.
But nothing fun happened afterwards. And then all of a sudden, they're literally telling us, like they were watching it. And at first they were like, it's going to be fine. We're just going to monitor it. And then all of a sudden it was, no, we have a shelter in place. It's very close. And they fit over 1,500, over 2,000 people or something. The amount of people that they ended up counting, they've put us in a basement. And the basement was not like a real basement that like you or I or anybody that's going to listen or watch this would be in. This was like a basement that they shouldn't have put humans in. And that was a horror movie in its own. And because, we were staff, we were trying to get everybody down. Everybody remained really calm. Kudos to the security team and to everybody that I work with in reality, because literally everybody remained calm. And my favorite part was like some of the Katie, she is in Annabelle, had the doll Annabelle with her, and she was like grabbing her things, and she's a little peanut. She's like the tiniest little human I've ever seen. And I'm looking at her and I'm watching her like look at her stuff and look at the doll and look at the stuff and look at the doll. So I'm like, okay, well, do you want me to carry Annabelle downstairs? So we're in the basement. I'm holding Annabelle. It is literally the picture perfect place for a horror movie to take place. And then I turn around and speaking, because you said Linda Blair, it's what makes me think of it. I turn around and Linda Blair and Elvira are sitting down on a John Deere side by side, pretending to drive.
Yes.
And the whole world's panicking because there's a tornado touching down. And they're just like, I mean, it was this most weird and surreal experience I've ever had. But you said that one of your favorite things about these conventions is the community. And I've been covering them since, God, I can't even tell you how long because I'm old. And that is my favorite thing too. But I've never experienced it to the extent that I did at Terracon this year in that basement while we were waiting to see how bad the tornado damage was going to be. Because tornadoes apparently hit Massachusetts now.
Yeah.
It was magical.
Somewhere exists a video of Elvira and Linda Blair on that John Deere tractor because there was a young man riding, and he was dressed as Jigsaw, riding around on a tricycle, and he was small enough to kind of navigate through people and then take a video of it. And I only heard of it. I didn't get to see the video itself. Brandon, you saw the young man I'm talking about. We talked to him at the end Sunday, but yeah, he was the like one of the only savvy ones, I guess, from what I understand, to grab a video of it because he was able to kind of like peek through everybody. But that's so amazing.
There is 100% that video because I've seen it.
Yeah.
And that little jigsaw nugget was the cutest little jigsaw I've ever seen.
He really was.
He was
polite too. We were asking him to like find someone for us, and he goes, "Hold on one second," and he's like, "Let me go ask my mother." It's like he was a really nice kid.
I didn't realize it was a kid until he finally took the mask off in the basement, and I was like, "Oh, that's a real child. That's somebody's child."
Yeah.
Krisilly, so as far as the whole, like, obviously that's a wild experience and that's funny, like to have Linda Blair and Cassandra Peterson downstairs. Was there any other like moments with some of the guests that kind of stood out to you? I mean, that was a pretty packed list of guests. You had the Monster Squad reunion. You had some Hocus Pocus people, Mark Holton from Leprechaun and Teen Wolf. There was just a number of people there. So I'm assuming it's pretty chaotic, probably navigating all those personalities as well too.
It's really fun. When I joined Altered Reality in 2019, I did it because one of the guys who runs the convention, Mike Bergy, has been a friend of mine since high school. And he had known that I was a journalist in California, and he had said, listen, we're doing these panels, and I think you'd be really great to moderate panels. And I was like, sure, I've done it before. Let's do it. And that first year I did Rhode Island Comic Con, it was 2019, and it was like Game of Thrones and Harry Potter and like all of my favorite things. It was amazing. And I just really loved the group of people that were there. And I loved that I was back home and I was still able to do what I loved. And the experience of walking through that convention floor, and no one's angry, no one's mean, no one's picking on anybody. It is literally just a giant room full of nerds that just love this stuff. So I still do panels. So I think my two biggest highlights from TerraCon this year was, I, like every other woman in America, I'm obsessed with Hocus Pocus. So to do the Hocus Pocus panel and to get to talk to them and to find out that, Larry met his wife because she was a fan of Hocus Pocus and she slid into his DMs. And to me, that is the cutest thing I've ever heard in my life. And he cried telling me the story. And it's hard not to get emotional with that. And then my second favorite highlight, which is going to maybe or may not sound strange depending on your movie tastes, was Andy Black, because American Satan was hands down one of my favorite sex, drugs, and rock and roll movies that I've ever seen. There's been a lot of movies about rock that I think have done a good job. And then American Satan took it to a level that was fun. It was out there. It was crazy. It was different. Nothing like we'd ever seen. They did a spinoff of Paradise City, a TV show. So I loved his character so much. I only watched the movie. This is going to sound so terrible. I only watched the movie because you guys are around this area. So Olivia Culpo was also a Miss Rhode Island.
Okay. Yeah.
And then won Miss USA and kept going on to bigger and better things. And of course, I follow her on social media, and I'd met her when I lived in LA. And she said, I saw the movie coming up and that she was in it. And honestly, I'm going to be that girl and totally admit that I watched it because I kind of wanted to hate it. I kind of wanted to be like, okay, so you won Miss USA and I didn't, but this movie's going to be really bad, because sometimes us girls can be a little petty, and I'm not afraid to admit that I was a little petty. And the movie was so good. And I had no clue who the black veiled brides were, because I'm not an emo listening person. I missed the whole emo world completely because I think of my age. And so that was my second highlight, is that he was one of the coolest dudes ever. He's got a wicked dry sense of humor. He had a lot of fun in our interview and just made it very like, he was poking fun at so many things without doing it. And I don't know, like, that was a great experience. I mean, you guys get to interview people all the time too. So you know that sometimes you expect certain things of people and then they just wow you. And he just wowed me. And I like still being able to be wowed by people.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was able to catch the Elvira panel. Our buddy Klepp, he had hosted that, and I think he did a great job with that. He was able to, take so much in the time that he had, get so much information from her, even as a fan, that I didn't know about, so I thought it was cool, because it was just like a real moment. And then seeing, our community from, back home, because we do monthly movie nights. And so they were in the crowd and everything like that. So like I said, it's a big reunion. And then, just coming to see like people that we love and growing up watching, it's just a special moment,
Yeah.
It is. I miss Klepp so much. He used to have a studio right down the street from where I live in Connecticut.
Okay.
And I used to get him to watch like these. I'd find a movie that I was obsessed with that like nobody else was watching, and I would make him watch it so that we could then do a video review about it because I was like, I am going to blow your mind with this movie and you're gonna and I would try, he would be like, nope, you're not gonna do it. And so that's what we would do. And I miss that so much because he used to be so close and now he's not here anymore.
It was just various films with Olivia Culpo.
Yes, it was all past pageant girls and whether I wanted them to fail or not.
Yeah, you're going to hate this one.
Sometimes I'm petty.
Yeah.
Now, I need to know, like, what's the process like of, choosing the guests for each year? Like, what does that look like?
God, I wish I was a part of that. Because man, I want some Vampire Diaries. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I was. I think it's a lot of different things. It depends on what offers we're getting, who's available, and then also like animes become very different because it's a smaller show and because it's a very niche audience, anime is something where we really have to go and find what's current and hot and what everybody's talking about. Where with shows like Terracon or Rhode Island Comic Con, we really have the opportunity to kind of pay tribute to things like this year's Pretty in Pink, a couple of years ago, Breakfast Club, maybe a couple of years, it'll be Lost, throwing out all my favorites here. But I think that it really depends on the year. And I think every year it's a little bit different. And it's really kind of fun because I sometimes don't get privy until the last minute. Sometimes I get I get the in the know when I get there. But it's really interesting to see each year how they bring in the guests and who comes in for what. And I think the biggest frustration that I wish that I could get more people to know is when guests cancel. I think that's the hardest thing is we see like Kevin Smith canceled for Colorado Springs and we don't always get a reason why. We don't always get to know. But a lot of times they may be filming something. They may have had a job came up that the filming schedule won't wait, and I think sometimes fans forget that while they love every single actor I talk to, I ask the same question, what's your favorite thing about coming to con? Because I know what their answer is going to be because it's always the same. And it's why we continue to love and come to these shows. And I think that they want to be there too, because they get to make all these movies and they never get to experience the audience watching their films or their TV shows. And when they get to come to conventions, they get to experience what those things mean to us. Like what maybe it got us through a hard time. Maybe it just makes us laugh. Maybe it's our comfort movie, but they get to really see that and experience that. So our guests, big, small, whether they've been in something 50 years ago or they're in something this year, they want to meet you just as much as you want to meet them realistically. Yeah. It's really frustrating when I see that, we have these amazing guests and then somebody will cancel and I see people get so upset and my heart breaks because I know I get their feeling, but then I think sometimes we have to know that, they're still working actors. They're still trying to just do their best.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to say last year at Rhode Island Comic Con, was it last year they did the Breakfast Club or was it the year before?
Oh, it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Michael Anthony Hall, one of the best guests, like best experiences meeting someone that you like grew to love because he was literally the nicest freaking guy. Like and he took time with every person, no matter who it was. He took time to like get their story and ask like a question back to them. It was just an amazing experience. Whether it was, I liked, you liked him in the Halloween Ends or whatever, or you liked him in Breakfast Club or Weird Science. Amazing guest.
He's one of the coolest dudes ever to just talk. I mean, that dude has been in so many things in so many genres for so many years. Like his experiences alone are just so cool. But then on top of that, he's so nice.
Yes. Yeah. It was wild. I was not expecting someone who I like assumed people come up to him all the time because he's a pretty recognizable face. I just didn't assume he was going to be as friendly and outgoing as he was. And it was like just one of the best experiences.
Yeah, I'm still crying over not being able to do that panel, but
But I think it's cool. I think it's cool. Like me and Dave, when we had ran into you that Sunday morning, you're just going full speed. And I just want to say, thank you for all that you do because, you're handling, your staff and you're also taking care of the social media, outlet at the same time and thanking the pizza companies that, I think, and so I just want to say it's a lot. And then we really appreciate everything that you do.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're gonna make me cry. I'm blushing. I just turned 12 shades of red. Thank you, because I love it. And I hadn't, when I first came back, I hadn't done any junkets or like movie releases or reviews in a really long time. And altered reality kind of is what gave me back something that I really loved to do. I couldn't get the same work here that I was getting in California initially. And they gave me the opportunity to really just enjoy and do what I love. And then I saw that their social media was lacking and was like, hey, let me try this. And we're still working the kinks out, and we're a very small crew. So it's usually just myself and my best friend is behind the camera. And then we have a girl that helps edit the video before they go up sometimes. But it's a lot of work and it's so much fun. And, the one good thing that came out of COVID is now everything's on Zoom. So now I'm being able to do other things again too. So it's been really fun. It's so funny. I left the weekend and my best friend and I are wicked horror nerds. She comes over my house and we'll spend 6 hours literally laying in my bed and watching movies. And we were both talking. She wasn't there when you guys came over. And I kept saying, like, you got to check these guys out. You got to check out their page. Look at all they do and look at all the things they like, because I find that my favorite people that have come into my life and that I've met are people that I've met through conventions, are people that I've met for love of horror, for love of film, for love of movie making. And I'm so happy that you guys came over and said hi, because I would have, like you walk and you go and you don't pay attention. And I'm so glad that you guys said hi, because I like meeting like-minded people.
And it's something we're working on more too with people, because, Brandon and I, we always talk about that on here. Like, we're very reserved people. Like, we're pretty shy, I guess you would say. And doing this has forced us to break out of our bubble more and more and more. And we've been doing this since like 2018. And I think only within the last 2 years have we really gotten more comfortable just like, going there. And like, I think that it's because the community is so welcoming that I think it's helped us kind of break out of our shells and like embrace like, hey, we're part of this community and, we should introduce ourselves more. And if we recognize someone, go up and say hi to them the way that we would want. I like when people do it to me. Someone did it to me last weekend and I was like, that's awesome. So I made sure to go over and have a conversation with them. But yeah, it's like, it is really because of the environment at TerraCon's environment is super welcoming. I got to say, it's like, it's one of those ones. You just feel comfortable when you're there. You don't feel like it's like an elitist. You don't feel like everybody's like trying to rush and get to the thing that like you're not at. I really appreciated that. It was it was busy, but it was a relaxed vibe. It wasn't like super chaotic, in my opinion. But I'm not running anything. I'm just walking around. So for me, it was like that. I'm sure for you, it was probably a different experience. But I really appreciated the vibe. I thought it was a really good atmosphere.
I love that, because I think some of my favorite moments that I've taken away over the past 5 years with the company is meeting people at the convention. Every city that we go to, I have friends there now that come to the show, and every year we take our yearly picture together and we put it on social media, and they become part of your con family. So as much as it's work for all of us, everybody that's with Altered Reality is there because they're a fan of it. They're a fan of conventions. They're a fan of movies, TV shows, video games, anything that would fall within the nerd culture. They really are, all of us. I mean, all of us are really big fans of it, and we are there because we love what we do. So while there might be minutes of stress here and there, ultimately we are having just as much fun as you guys are, realistically.
Yeah. No, I could kind of sense that. Brandon and I were talking about that. I was like, kind of cool how you were like out on the floor, and every time we like see you, you always have a smile on your face. Like, you look like you're having a good time.
I am. I am. I love it so much.
I have to admit it. I am.
I do.
Yeah.
You guys, I want to come to one of your screenings so bad. So I'm now going on and I follow you guys on social media now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get Taylor so you can meet her too.
Okay.
Hopefully before November, so that you guys will say hi to both of us if you're at Rhode Island
Yes.
Comic Con, because if you don't, I'm gonna feel hurt and upset. And when I get my feelings hurt, I become petty.
Speaking of that, Rhode Island Comic Con, as you mentioned, is coming up in November. Do you want to tell people the dates and like some of the, the big draw to it this year?
Yeah, I'm going to say the dates wrong if I don't look it up, because I have too many things happening at once. It is always the first weekend in November.
Yep.
So the dates this year are going to be November 7th through 9th. We are still releasing guests. So there's lots of excitement happening. I'm really excited I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. It's just been in my blood since I was little. So I'm super excited for all of the Star Wars people. Also, Dennis Rodman.
Okay.
Which is crazy to me, because I think he's one of the coolest dudes in the whole entire universe. And I'm super excited because we very rarely get athletes that are not wrestlers. And while he do a small stint in wrestling, because I'm also a wrestling fan, I'm so excited that he's coming. And you mentioned the Brat Pack, so I can't not mention Pretty in Pink, because I cannot wait for Pretty in Pink this year. That's like my thing. I'm a John Hughes whore. Like, anything that John Hughes has made is God tier in my book. Like, you can't compete with John Hughes movies. So there's everybody. I mean,
wait, so who are we going to get from Pretty in Pink? Which ones? I'm assuming Molly Ringwald.
Molly Ringwald. Have we announced everybody yet? I don't know if we've announced anybody.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
look at the page.
I don't know if we've announced everybody yet.
Don't be lazy. Look at the
for that one. I was like, I'm trying to think who we've announced and who we haven't right now. Also, like, Juliette Lewis is coming, Dennis Rodman, Randy Quaid, National Lampoons.
Okay.
I mean, that's a pretty exciting one. A lot of Star Wars Clone Wars, a lot. Oh, I don't know if we've announced them either yet. So I will say, there is a very, very popular Marvel property that there will be guests from, that everyone will know, that I'm very excited for, because it's one of my favorite characters. Yep, he's blind, so I can tell you that.
Okay. Yep.
Blind. Yep. And he's definitely one of my favorites.
The actor is in real life?
No.
I know. I'm messing.
I know. Thora Birch, I'm really excited about, because
Thora Birch.
Nice. I'm so sad that we didn't get her for TerraCon. Because I mean, it's Thora Birch.
That's right. Because
we talked about her so many times on stage. And there is also another very popular anti-superhero show on Amazon that several guests will be there for as well.
Okay.
So our lineup this year is crazy, and we're still announcing guests every day. And I'm like, you guys, like,
I'm still on the Dennis Rodman.
How many more can you say?
I'm like, I'm about to go into my 12-year-old basketball card collection and get all my Dennis Rodman cards out to have him sign. That's awesome.
I am so excited. So, fun fact, he is one of the coolest, most generous humans I've ever met in my whole entire world. When I moved to California, like everybody else moving there to make it, I became a waitress, and I worked at a restaurant, and he was a regular. And he made it a point to go to every single staff member in that restaurant, not only say hello, but tip them.
Wow, that's cool.
This sounds really weird, but California people, they don't tip. And if you're in a service, it's a very weird mentality.
Sure.
And he made it a point to go to every single time that he would come in, no matter how many times in a week. And it wasn't even just the generosity of the tip that mattered to me, but it was the fact that he literally went up to every single person and just said hi. How's your night?
That's
like he was just like a normal guy walking down the street. And I'm like, dude, you're Dennis Rodman.
It's so amazing when like, it's great when they live up to the expectation you already have, but it's even better when people that like we are so notable actually exceed, or they reverse that expectation that maybe we had. Because like I think he could have gone either way. I think people could expect that, hey, he looks like he could be an okay guy, or he looks like maybe he could be an asshole, right? But then he obviously not when he does something like that. So I think that's amazing.
He totally looks like he'd be a huge dick.
Yes,
I mean, he does. Like
100% actually. Yeah.
Like he married himself. Like, come on, who doesn't?
Yeah, I kind of actually,
nice.
when I was younger, I kind of always thought that about him. And then, I would watch him on like reality shows and you get to see different like, sides to him. I'm kind of that's like my guilty pleasure is reality TV, I guess. So he's been on a ton of that stuff. And he has definitely a different side to him. I'm very excited for Rhode Island Comic Con. I got to say, like I do. Yeah. It's overwhelming to me, Rhode Island Comic Con, because it's so big. It's so big. Yep. And I'm not like huge in that world of like comic book stuff. I like some of it, but like obviously horror is more my thing. So I get excited, but like it's still just, it's a thing you have to experience. The cosplays, the excitement. There's always like one of my favorite parts is you guys always have a promotional beer that goes along with it. They had the Back to the Future beer by Proclamation Brewing last year. Just every year there's something. I love those little elements.
It was special. Like last year, the Blockbuster store. You know what I mean? So it was just like reliving that. Like kind of it just made us feel like so special. Like growing up again, it was so cool because me and my wife, we had gone on the Sunday because she couldn't make it down Saturday, and we had gone into the Blockbuster store. And so a lot of the videos that they had gotten in, they were all used videos from all different video stores around the world. And get this, she had gotten Roadhouse on VHS, and the bottom of the slipcover said Major Video, North Providence, and that's the major video that she went to as a kid growing up.
That's wild.
Shut up.
Yeah, and so it's like so crazy how like VHSs just travel around the world and then just come right back to you, and then getting it at Rhode Island Comic Con and a pop-up Blockbuster. Like that was just a special moment.
Also at an age where you appreciate it now.
Yeah.
Too. Like, if that stumbled on me when I was younger, I probably wouldn't have thought twice about it. But like now when I actually have like that appreciation, and like I know your wife does too, Lauren is like definitely into all this world as well. That's amazing.
That is so cool. And Roadhouse is such a great film.
Yeah.
I can't say I will not watch anything that Sam Elliott's in though, because I will.
Yeah.
I will.
And it's so special. Like we love doing like recap episodes like this of our conventions because, our listeners and viewers on YouTube from overseas, they're not as lucky as us to have these types of events all the time. And, so for them just to hear about it and view it, it means a lot to them. We always get good feedback about it saying, oh, you guys are lucky. We wish we had, something like this down there, but we're able to live through you guys. So this is what we do it for, and I just want to say thank you for all that you do and Alter Reality for, bringing us on this press to, guide the light for all the fans out there.
No, we love it. And I have to say, like, you guys are one of the few people who we always see coverage from. And that to me is like, there's a lot of people that apply for press passes and we never see anything. They just want to come to the weekend. And I mean, listen, I get it. I want to come to, I saw you guys at Silver Scream and I was like, why am I not there? I'm so mad. But you guys always have great coverage, and it is true. Unless you've experienced a con, you don't kind of get it. And to be able to have people like you both who both love horror, you love film, you love conventions, you love the family aspect of it. Because I really think that we do all kind of become part of each other's con families. And being able to show that experience to other people is why I started helping them with their social media, because all that they had were guest announcements. And I was like, if people don't know, if they've never been to a con, they don't know what it's like. If people have never been, they don't know what the professional photo op is, what the difference is, what things look like. Like, we need to show people what happens and how every single one of these actors are here because they want to meet you. They want to meet the fan. They don't care about me. they're there to meet everybody that's a fan of their project. And I think that being able to shine light on that and the way that you guys both do it is pretty awesome. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you. And I just wanted to share, like, actually TerraCon, I think is special for me and Brandon for another reason. I was just kind of reflecting back on it. And so for both of us, like our first horror film is kind of like, or like the horror film that we kind of know as being like one of our more impactful ones. So like Brandon talks about Waxwork as being one of his like first horror films that his grandmother introduced. Brain Scan was like the first horror movie that I saw in theaters. And we met Zach Galligan from Waxwork. I got to meet Eddie Furlong from Brain Scan, both at TerraCons. And I just was thinking about that. I was like, so, and now I know that was like meaningful to both of us. So, you know, I'm glad to be able to share that experience. And like, it kind of just shows, you know, sometimes it's not like that headlining guest that is the most meaningful person for everyone. Sometimes it is that, like, I mean, obviously Eddie Furlong and Zach Galligan are important people like in film world, but like, you know, for us, that was like the highlight of that one. And I think that was the same year that Brad Dourif was there, who we both got to meet and love as well. But I mean, nothing will replace meeting Eddie Furlong for the first time. And I had been talking about wanting to meet him literally forever. So like, that's like one of those special moments that you really can't replace, you know?
It is. And you always remember your first. Like the first horror movie that I ever was around was Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And to this day, I have a fear of clowns because I saw that movie too young. And it tormented me. The first horror movie, this is going to sound terrible, that I ever saw in a theater was the first Insidious movie.
Okay.
And I will not lie to you. I had a blanket and earplugs. Because I was like, okay, if I put the earplugs in, the jump scares won't be as jumpy. I won't get as scared. I had to cover it for work. I had no choice. I had to watch it, right? Like I had to ask a question based on something that I saw. And I brought a blanket. So if I got scared, I could, I mean, you always remember those first moments. And now I love it. Now I have movie marathon nights with my best friend and we just try to figure out what's going to scare us the worst. So you always remember that stuff.
It's true.
Yep. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
So, Krisilly, thank you for joining us. And to everybody, make sure if you have the opportunity and if you haven't before, get out to a convention. If you can get to TerraCon or Rhode Island Comic Con, or what's the other one that's kind of far away from us?
Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs. If you're in that area, you have to go to one of these to experience it. And especially if you're one of those people that kind of judge it like, oh, they're all nerds. No, we're not. We are not nerds. We just love this stuff. And you will see why if you go. Oh, yeah, a little bit. All right. But yes, so November is Rhode Island Comic Con. Super excited. And yeah, thank you again, Krisilly, just for the awesome experience we had at TerraCon. And we're already looking forward to next year.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I hope to see you both at Rhode Island Comic Con. And for everybody that's listening, even if you can't come to one of our shows, come to any convention because you have to experience it at least once. And the community is what makes it work. And it's what's great.
And you'll come back after Rhode Island Comic Con with us and maybe do a recap then?
Listen, I will do any episodes you want. I'm here. I'm ready. I love talking about this shit. And I love talking about it for people that love it too. Whenever you want me, I'm available.
Okay.
Right, sounds good.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week with a new episode. See you later.